and I hate to say this, but you guys do have a lot of knowledge. But I appreciate you guys through my whole career. I don't know if I said that when I initially retired, but even through my downside, what you guys said or whatever was fair. In the good times, obviously, was fair. Some of you guys I developed great relationships with, and it's good to see you guys again as well. So with that, I'll open it up.
Mark? What does this mean to you? Just talk about from being a rookie here and trials and tribulations you went through, and here you are with your number about to be retired by the Mets.
It means a great deal. The thing about it, growing up in Tampa with Gary, playing baseball in the backyard, sometimes playing one-on-one, you never dream about having your number retired. You talk about maybe playing the big leagues one day, maybe one day winning a World Series, but you never talk about having your number retired. So for this day to happen, and it happened with the team that I was drafted by, I look back at where I started, in '82, and Joe McAvane, who drafted me. It's definitely a dream come true, something that I never thought would possibly happen. You think you have an opportunity. The things I did on the field, I thought I always had a chance. But unfortunately, the struggles I had off the field, I thought it diminished that probably wouldn't happen. So last year when I got the call from Steve Cohen, was definitely surprised a little bit, but then I had to take a deep breath back and just suck it in. Obviously, you get teared up a little bit. Situation where you want to share with your dad, but unfortunately he's not here. But I get the opportunity to share with my kids, my grandkids, great-grandkids, and my family, and that's what it's all about, sharing those things that, and so many people, the fans, that helped me get to that point. So I look at it not just as a retirement, I look at it more as a celebration.
Bruce?
Doc, congratulations.
Thank you.
How would you describe your relationship with these fans?
Oh, man. Overwhelming at times. They've definitely been very supportive. I look at it as like 84, 85, the support they gave me. I can look at it and say, well, it was easy at that time. But then I look at after 87, when I came back from Smiths the first time, and the ovation I got my first game back, and the way the fans have stuck with me through everything. Today I get to thank them for that and show my appreciation, what they meant to me. I think it's a connection that we've had and developed at a very young stage in my career that always been there. And the thing that was more important, when you're going through different struggles and you see the fan support, because you're dealing with a life, you know what I'm saying? And when they show their support that way, that's when the real connection comes in, and that's what means a lot to me. And after '94, when we cut ties, which I understood, I always wanted to come back here, let the fans know how much I appreciated them and what they meant to my career, and now I get the opportunity to do that today.
Danny?
Doc, first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
We go back a number of years, and as someone who watched the World Series in 1986, as a 20-year-old, that's a memory that's, to this day, I will never forget. But considering what we're currently seeing in baseball today with pitchers, the impact that your father had, your high school coach had, from the standpoint of maybe not rushing you, progress to what we ended up experiencing in 1984 and 1985, vintage Doc Gooden. What would you tell a young boy today? He wants to become a pitcher. What are some things along the line of conditioning and arm strength?
I think, just my opinion, I was very fortunate, man, Gary, that the knowledge that my father had that taught us about mechanics at a very young age. He developed Gary with his hitting, developed me as a pitcher. The main thing is, I would say, number one, as a young pitcher, have fun. That's the most important thing. And to me, what separates the good players from the great players is, always ask kids all the time, when you don't have practice and you don't have games, what can you do to make yourself better? There's a lot of distractions now for kids, unfortunately, and having passion for the game. I mean, you got to eat, drink, and sleep baseball, and understanding what it takes to even wear the uniform. I mean, even young kids, it's a privilege to wear the uniform because somebody, whether it's your parents, whoever, paved the way for you to get to that point. And just put in the hard work. And I would say, for his throwing, I think with the parents plays a big part in that, for his monitoring the kids. And a lot of times you notice where sometimes the parents try to live their dream through the kid instead of letting the kid be a kid. So that would be my advice, pretty much, just my opinion.
Howie?
Hey, Doc, can you recall your reaction the first time you saw that mural of you building on 42nd Street?
Oh, wow. I tell you, you want the truth or? Yeah. No, I said that because, I was young. I was 20 years old when that happened. And going in the city, a lot of times you ride by there, intentionally, but whoever's your passenger, you pretend like this is your first time seeing it. So I did get lucky a lot of times, But honestly, the first time I saw that, I was overwhelmed. Being 20-year-old and seeing that, and then when my family came up to take them by there and enjoy that, it seemed, surreal. I didn't know how to take it, but then towards the end of your career, when things are not going so well on the field, you look back at it and you really get to enjoy it. And now when I see the pictures of it and everything, and I show my grandkids, it means a lot. But the first time I saw it, I was overwhelmed by it.
Mark?
Doc, I know from speaking to you and as well in your book, you said like one of the biggest regrets of your life was missing the ticker tape parade. Today, does that ease some of that regret?
Well, I forgive myself for that. It was this thing that I struggled with for a long time because it was something that happened that you can't redo. When you see your teammates and guys that you play with, something that we work so hard for, celebrating the fans, you're not there. Unfortunately, it kept me sick for a long time. But I had to get to a place where I can forgive myself and move on from that, and I have done that. So today, I don't think about the parade. I just think about where I'm at today, being healthy, mentally and physically, and having my friends, my family here to celebrate with me. It's going to mean a lot to me today.
John?
Yeah, I guess I'll be following up on that just a little bit, Doc. You've been very good and very candid about your off-the-field problems, and obviously you had a great career, 53 WAR, but you were the best player in baseball when you were 20 years old. Do you ever allow yourself to think about what might have been? I mean, obviously, a great career, but could have been even better.
Well, you know what? That's a great question. But the thing is, those are things expectations that others had of me. Like I mentioned earlier, growing up with Gary, all I dreamed about was playing in the major leagues, playing a long time, staying healthy, hopefully one day win a World Series. Then my career got off to a great start. Unfortunately, everything was compared to whatever I did in '85 because I set the bar so high. And in '86, I'll be lying to say I let the game slip away a little bit because it wasn't as fun because I was used to, 10 strikeouts, the shutout, the complete games. But I had to take a step back and look back at my expectations and say, well, I got to be thankful for the things I did accomplish and not worry about the things that didn't happen. And not to blow smoke, but I won just about every award a pitcher can win. I won the World Series with both New York teams. Having a number retired, last year I got inducted into the Negro League Museum Hall of Fame. I have nothing to be ashamed of about my career. Basically, I look at it as a celebration, and I'm very proud of the things I accomplished.
Mike?
Doc, when did you find out Darryl was going to be here, and what does it mean to you that he was able to make it?
Oh, man. I didn't know until I seen him today. We've texted each other. We've talked. I didn't know he was going to be here today. It's good to see Darryl. It'll always be Darryl and Doc, or Doc and Darryl. We'll always be connected. And to see Darryl, I mean, I'm just as happy for him, the things he's accomplished in his life first as a man, what he's got going with his ministry. Very proud of him because I know Darryl, the person. Obviously, we've had ups and downs, but things happen. When you're close, you're going to have those things. But we've been able to work it out. I think we're closer now. And to see Darryl, when I saw him, I was very happy to see him, man. It just brought joy to me that he took out the opportunity to make it here today, to enjoy this day with me as well. And when he have his day June 1st, I'll be just as excited for him as I am for myself today.
Manny?
Just to piggyback off of that question, how about the rest of your teammates? Did you expect to see this type of reception, and how does it make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel great, man. I love these guys, man. And when you play with guys for so long, you spend more time with these guys than you do your own family. And the great thing about it, you develop a great relationship, a friendship. You develop a great bond. And we had talked earlier about they may be coming, but then when I saw them here Friday, it's been a great weekend. I appreciate you guys and coming here, celebrating with me, and enjoying this weekend, seeing you guys' family, your wives, and you guys meeting my family, my grandkids, and all that. It just makes you feel great, man, that these guys really care about you, not just as a player and a teammate, but as a person.
Tim?
You've talked about wanting to be able to thank the fans. How long have you thought about what you might say on the field here?
Wow, probably. I never thought I'd get the opportunity to thank them the way I wanted to since '94. Just to make it right, because you don't want nothing to end the way it ended. Like I said, I understand the business tie when the Mets wanted to cut ties in. It wasn't nothing personal, but I always looked at a way of getting back, just to let them know how I felt about them and how much I appreciated them and what they meant to me. So I would probably say when Steve gave me the call when I talked to him last year about they was retirement, that's when it crossed my mind what I would say and what I want to say. I didn't write a speech or whatever. I'll just speak from my heart, whether it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, I don't know. I'll just feed off the crowd as I always did. And again, I look at this as a celebration.
Andy?
Doc, congratulations. Being that this is the anniversary of your very first appearance as a Met way back in Houston, could you talk about that first game, your emotions, the family, any butterflies, what were you going through?
Oh, man, I'd never been, well, I had some days, but that probably one of the top 5 most, I would say, not scared, but nervous and excitement, anxiety that I ever had. You're making your first start. Obviously, you're happy you made it, but you're not sure if you're ready. You know, a year and a half, I was in high school. You know, you go another year before that in the backyard with Gary, throwing the ball around. The mess was kind enough to fly my parents in. And I remember, not to bore you guys with the story, but I had lunch with my parents at like 1 o'clock in the hotel. I never had been to Astrodome before. I went to the front desk to find out how far the Astrodome was. They told me it was about 3 miles. I ended up walking to the ballpark. If you guys hadn't heard the story, walked to the ballpark. When I got there, I didn't know how to get in the gate. The 8-foot gate, I'm climbing the fence to get in. True story. Now the security guards come, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm Dwight Gooden, I'm pitching. They're like, "Sure you are." You know? Luckily, our trainers were there, Steve Garland, and I think Bob Sykes was the trainers then. They came and, you know, said it was okay. I had to show my ID, and they got me in. And now I'm pitching. The first thing I go out to pitch, and I see my dad and my mom sitting there in the stands. See my parents sitting in the stands, and it was me playing professional baseball, and Gary would tell you, it was my dad's dream at first. It was my dad's dreams at first that became my dream. And to see my parents sitting in the stands, seeing the joy on their face. And I remember Bill Doran grounding out the second. I want to say Terry Poole grounding out the second. And then I got Dickie Thunder strike out. Walking off the field after that first strikeout, that's when you feel in confidence. You know, you get a little swag and you walk at the time. And just to see the joy more so on my dad's face meant everything to me. Unfortunately, the next start in Chicago, I got knocked out in the 3rd inning. So you go from saying that you think you're ready, then the next start, you're not sure if you're ready.
Howie?
You're obviously quite comfortable in this environment now, but when you're 19 years old, what was more intimidating for you, pitching in front of 50,000 people or dealing with cameras and notebooks and microphones surrounding you immediately after the game?
Probably I was more comfortable pitching because that was my safeguard. That's something I've been doing since I was 7 years old. But coming from Tampa, small town, I was the youngest kid, so I was very, very shallow, very small. I'm the youngest of 5 siblings. I'm the youngest by 13 years. But it became better as I got to know you guys. I got comfortable. Jay Horace played a big part of that, especially in '84 and '85. Spring training of '84, once I made the team, knew I was going to make the team. Darryl helped me a lot. In the first 2 years, we lived together. And well, not lived together, but we was neighbors in Port Washington. We used to drive to the ballpark together. So he talked to me a lot about dealing with the media, showing up every day in front of your locker, good or bad. And he helped me out a lot because of what he went through the previous year.
Ed, in the back.
Can you talk about your relationship with your idol, Nolan Ryan, and the conversation you had at the All-Star game in '84, and then facing him in Game 5 in the NLCS here?
Yeah, so Nolan was like my idol. Nolan and Pete Rose. Pete Rose, because I wanted to be a hitter growing up. And growing up in Tampa, the Cincinnati Reds had spring training there, so my dad would take me to a lot of games. And Nolan Ryan, because of the power pitcher, watching a lot of his highlights, all the strikeouts, and in Little League, I was a power pitcher. So Nolan was my guy. 1984, I make the All-Star team. I meet Nolan Ryan in the clubhouse, and the thing that gave me so much confidence that year, just by the words that Nolan said, when he told me that he loved watching me pitch. If he's not pitching when I'm pitching, every 5th day, he looks forward to watching me pitch if they don't have a game or not traveling. And he said, I bring so much joy to him. And here's a guy who's my idol for so many years, and watching him do what he did, that meant a lot to me and gave me more confidence. Game 5, as Ed mentioned, pitching against Nolan Ryan. Being a fan of Nolan, it was nice. Not that I was obviously pulling for Nolan, but you want to see him do well, but you want to win. Pitchers, I know myself, I was very superstitious where every third inning I would go in the clubhouse and change my shirts or whatever. But when Nolan was pitching, I would just stand in the dugout, change in the tunnel just to watch him pitch and see what he's doing. And to go 10 innings against Nolan that day was definitely one of the highlights of my career. So it's something that always would stick there.
Rich?
Hey, Dwight, obviously you pitched a lot of big games here, and your battery mate for most of that time was Gary Carter. And what was it like playing with him, and what did he mean to your career on a day-to-day basis?
Gary was great. Not only a great catcher and a player, as you guys know, but a great friend and just a great guy. Gary, in '84, when I met Gary in the All-Star game, I remember after the first inning going into the dugout, and Gary saying, wouldn't this be nice to do every fifth day? Not knowing we was going to trade for Gary that November, and we just hit it off right away. Gary's one of the guys where the only catcher I ever had besides Barry that would catch me between starts. He wanted to be totally locked in, and Gary, like, it was no coincidence that I had the year I had in 1985. Gary played a huge part of that. Gary wanted me to dominate every game. I mean, if it was up 10-0, he wanted me to pitch like it was 1-0. He wanted the complete game. He wanted 10-plus strikeouts. He wanted to shut out. And he demanded nothing but the best. And I had a lot of respect for Gary, especially when it was towards the end. He would get to the ballpark 12 o'clock in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock game, get work on his knees, and then he's the last guy to leave after the games, getting the treatment on his knees. I mean, I don't think, as far as our pitching staff, we would have had the success we had 85, 86 without Gary, without the leadership that he brought. And the man that Gary was just speaks volumes.
Andrew?
Well, you mentioned a lot about just sharing this day with your grandkids and your kids. I guess to the younger generation, how do you kind of explain the legacy that you had on the mound?
Well, I think today they'll get it. Well, they're too young. Some of them are too young. It's like all ages with the grandkids. But they'll get to experience what it was like a little bit when I pitched in the parking lot next door. I think it's great. And I only say that because, to me, this is still Shea. This is like the new Shea, right? No disrespect to anybody, but that's just me. My two younger kids, I was married twice. My youngest son, Dylan, who's at University of Maryland playing football, but I remember when he was playing Little League, he never seen me play. He only saw me playing the old-timers games with the Yankees. And one day he came on, he said, Dad, I want to pitch. I said, okay, we'll start working on that. And he said, what do you know about pitching? So I had to show him tapes. And the only way he found out that his dad pitched was because of his teammates' parents would tell their kids, and then they would tell him. And now he understands a little bit now, but to them, I'm just dad. But it's great just to share this moment with them.
Doc, which grandson are you throwing the first pitch to?
Caden, my 11-year-old grandson. Yes. He plays Little League in Tampa.
Yep.
Doc, your number, when you look at it up there, it's going to be next to Willie Mays's and just down the block from Tom Seaver. I wonder if you can process that and maybe mention what it means to you, especially those players.
I mean, obviously, it means a great deal to me. Seaver was a good friend of mine. I got to know Tom a little bit. And just to be in that situation with those guys means a great deal. And not only that, but I look at it as, obviously my number's going up there, but I'm the guy that's going up there. But it's for all of us, because it don't happen without these guys, my teammates, being there as well. But it's a great honor to be up there. You know, like to say that one of the highest honors you can be getting. And next to Willie, who everybody knows Willie. I got to know Willie a little bit. It means a great deal. But just to have my number up there amongst those guys means a lot.
Mark?
Yeah, Dwight, you know, generations of Mets, there's always that bridge, whether it be with Hojo, with David Wright. But Mike Torres is here. Could you speak about what his, you know, mentoring of you meant to your career?
Mike meant a great deal. Mike's my man. Spring training in 1984, we're at Huggins Stingle in St. Pete. And me and Mike, we just connected. And the thing I'm most about Mike that I don't know if I ever told Mike was, he said to me that when I made the team, he said, once you start pitching well, Ron Darling, you got young guys start pitching well, they're probably going to get rid of me, meaning him, Craig Swan, Dick Tidron, these guys. Said, but as long as I'm here, I'm going to help you, which meant a lot, where a lot of guys, you know, wouldn't do that. And I remember after every start I had, back then we had a lot of B games at Huggins Stingle. After every start, I'd go in, the media would say, well, some of you guys were there, would say, the front office wants you to go to AA or AAA. And Mike, I built a relationship with Mike while I was comfortable with Mike. And we was talking about last night. He would say, I'll say, Mike, they thinking about sending me down. He'll say, you know, what? Go in there and tell them you're not going down. You're going to make it to the majors. And I said, so I actually told Davey, I said, Davey said, I said, Mike said I'm not going down. I didn't say I said, Mike said it.
You're ready.
I told him Mike said it. I didn't say it. But after I made the team, me and Mike would go out and eat on the road. And I would sit next to Mike if he wasn't pitching and I wasn't pitching. We would just talk about setting up hitters, reading bat speed, what you look for in hitters, and sometimes he'll quiz me, what would you throw here, why would you throw this here? So I have a lot of respect for Mike, and we developed a great relationship by doing that. And unfortunately, they did release him, I think June maybe? And but we always stayed in contact, and we're still in contact today. And I'm glad you're here. It's good to see Mike.
Bruce?
Doc, what's your message to the youth of today about baseball and life?
Baseball and life, I think, I would say, number one, we always talk about having fun. I think you got to have fun. And what I say to kids when you do camps and clinics is, not everybody can make it, but you develop friendships that last a lifetime. And I think that's the most thing. And you can use teammates, like a lot of guys don't make it, it's going into corporate America as co-workers, you know. Enjoying the game, respecting the game, respecting umpires, respecting your coaches, your teammates, whatever. And I always tell them, like, sometimes if you feel like you're struggling, and this can go for the big leagues, if you feel like you're struggling, try to do one thing to help your team win that day. Forget about your personal stats or personal accomplishments. Do something to help your team that day. That way you get out of it not thinking so much about yourself. But I would say the main thing for the youth is having fun.
John?
Doc, you know, you talked about on-field accomplishments, some of the off-field stuff. What does this day mean more to you as far as your baseball legacy or your kind of what you've had to do to keep your life in order all these years?
I think a combination of both. That's why I keep saying, and it probably sounds cheesy now, I keep saying it's a celebration, because it's a celebration of my career as well as my life off the field. Honestly, I don't think I would be here today without the support and the fans, my family, my teammates, with all the text messages, all the social media stuff that I get to keep me going. When I feel down or I'm struggling or going through something, it uplifts you. That know people care for you, and just to get you through that moment till you get back to loving yourself again. So that plays a big part in, obviously, my career. The fans who've been here with me from day one in =84 get to reminisce of my career and celebrate that as well. So I look at it as a combination of both.
Doc, Anthony McLean from MLBBro.com. Congratulations, first of all. Talk about the phone call from Steve Cohen. You said that you thought it was just going to be a regular conversation, but it wound up being letting you know that you were going to get your number retired. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Initially, Jay had called me, Jay Horace, and told me that Steve was trying to reach me. And I was like, okay. I didn't know if he was offering me a job or what it was, but when he called, you have maybe a thought that that could be it, but when I talked to him, at first you think it might be a prank call. We have a lot of pranksters. So you don't know, because I never talked to Steve on the phone before, so you don't know what you're getting. But when I knew it was him, we had that conversation. I mean, at the moment, it didn't really hit me at first, but then when it hit, that was what he said to me. Like I said earlier, it's something that you want to share with your dad, but unfortunately he's not here. And the next call went to my family. I started calling my family, letting them know what's going on and what's going to take place. Me and Darryl had a conversation as well. And, I think it still didn't really start hitting in until this last couple of weeks as we start getting closer with the momentum that's starting to hit me. And now it's here. So I'm just going to try to soak it all in and just enjoy it as much as the fans and my family is going to enjoy it.
Last one in the
Doc,
left.
number 16, was that the number you wanted? Was that your favorite number? And talk about when you went to the Yankees, why did Ford offer you his number 16?
Yes, so that's going to be part of my speech today, but I'll give it to you guys. All right, I'll give it to you guys. But we're going to field, but 10 you guys didn't hear it. So I get drafted in '82. I go to Kingsport, Tennessee. My number was, I liked the number 5. I liked number 10. That's what I wore in high school. But there's a guy, Russ Orrick. I'll never forget this guy. He had been in rookie ball for like 3 years. 3 years in rookie ball. And he was like, I don't care who you are. I know you want number 10. You're not getting it. And back then, if you draft like in the first couple rounds, they call you bonus babies. He was like, I don't care who you effing are. You bonus baby. You're not getting my number. So I told the trainer, give me something close to 10, but not 13. He gave me 16. So I took 16, and next year I go to A-ball. I'm in Lynchburg. 16 was available. I stayed with 16. 84, obviously, I make the team. Spring training, I'm wearing number 64. I make the team, and we have a workout before we open up in Cincinnati, I believe. And I go to my locker, and it's number 35 hanging up with Gooden on the back. And so I see nobody's got 16. And I remember once I made the team, Frank Cashin, the general manager, told me if I got any problem with anybody, just come see him. And I went to Charlie's office. I said, Charlie, can I get 16? He was like, no, get out here, kid. Just be happy you're on the team. so like the spoiled kid I was, I went to Frank's office. I said, Frank, I want 16. Charlie won't give it to me. Frank came down, told Charlie, give Doc 16. That's how I got 16. But come to find out, the reason why Charlie didn't want to give me 16 was because of Lee Mazzilli. Lee wore 16, and him and Charlie was good friends. In '86, Lee rejoined the team. We got Lee, and I told Lee, here's 16, you can have it back. He said, no, it's your number. You can have it now. Wow. And when I went to the Yankees, as you mentioned, Whitey Ford offered me to get 16, but there's no way I was winning 16 out there, Whitey Ford, so I had 11. Yep.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Dwight.
Thank you, guys.
We also have members, teammates from Doc's career that are available to the media. We can spread the room out a little bit. Oh, yeah. Can we bring everybody up? All of Doc's family and teammates, and we're going to get a team photo.